Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of our Beginners Pilates program with Body Shift Pilates. My name's Jess, and let's get started in a seated position again today, starting with our breathing. So let's just remember how we should be breathing throughout this class. So closing your eyes and really trying to focus on sending the breath into your rib cage. So taking a big inhale through the nose, expanding out at the ribs and exhaling through the mouth. Let's do that again. Big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Good. Okay, let's remember what we did in day 1's class with the core and pelvic floor engagement. Remember to switch those on at 20 to 30% through the class. In a stretch or in a transition, you can let that go, but ideally you want to be having that engagement. So let's just start with a quick little warm up, starting with the neck. Just gently bringing the neck side to side. Just loosening up that tension. Bringing your head back to center. Now let's roll the shoulders back. So just to create little circles with the shoulder joint. And forward. Good. Okay, now we're going to warm up our spine in rotation. So we're going to be doing a spine twist. Take your index fingers and your thumbs together. Index fingers under chin, thumbs on sternum. Sitting tall with good posture, shoulders away from the ears, elbows down by your sides. Keep your core switched on, and as we rotate, back to center and to the other side. So exhale as you rotate. Inhale as you come back to center. The reason for the fingers is to keep your neck in alignment with your spine. So you're not over twisting like that. It's just keeping you nice and centered throughout. Let's just do a couple more. Last one, and back to center now. Okay, let's get into it. So let's come to our seated position from here. We're gonna start with our half roll up. So we're not gonna come all the way to the floor. We're just gonna be doing halfway down to get our core nice and warmed up. So starting in a tall position, seated nice and straight in your back, taking the hands behind your legs if you need that help getting up and down, or placing your arms in front of you in line with the shoulders. Let's start by tucking the chin, rounding the shoulders, creating a literal C curve in the spine as we roll ourselves down. Maybe you want to come till you hit the lower back to the mat, and then roll yourself back up to a nice tall spine. Keep going with this. Exhale to roll down. Inhale to roll up. And again. And up. And again. Let's make this our last one. Well done. Okay, let's come onto all fours from here. So, coming to all fours, you're gonna place the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees come underneath the hips. You wanna make sure your knees are hip width apart, gaze is at your fingertips, and your back is nice and straight. So personally for me, my lower back tends to curve slightly in, so what I need to do is just shift my hips forward slightly. So see the difference? Just shifting the hips inwards. You wanna keep your core engaged and tightened from here. So tightened and in. So just think like you're wearing that imaginary corset. Same for that pelvic floor. We're lifting and squeezing, 20 to 30%. Let's go into a small knee lift to get into our core. So taking a big inhale, curl your toes and hover the knees just a couple inches. You don't want to be too high like that. You want to be nice and low, staying nice and squared up. Keep breathing, Keep pressing through your hands so that your shoulder blades are nice and flat. Keep your gaze at the top of your fingers. We're almost there. And back down. Well done. Take another breath because we're going to do that again. So staying on all fours. Take a big inhale, curl your toes under, and let's hover those knees again. Small lift and hold. Press through the hands, making sure the shoulder blades are nice and flat, staying squared up. You can do it. Keep breathing. And back down. Well done. So that one's pretty challenging. It's kind of like a variation of a plank. Now let's come back to all fours. From here, we'll go into a classic opposite arm and leg extensions, or 4-point kneeling swimming, if you want the technical name. So you want to make sure you're staying nice and squared up on that mat. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Taking your time, you're going to glide the arm and leg across your mat and floor, if the floor is behind you. Bring it up in line with your body. Making sure your leg and arm aren't coming higher than your back. So you don't want to be like this. You want to have a nice straight line here. And you want to make sure your hips aren't shifting to the side. You want to keep those hips nice and squared up. On your exhale, you bring that arm and leg back to center with control. It's important that you do this one very slow and controlled. Let's just keep alternating sides from here. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach. Reach the arm forward, reach the leg back, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, back to center. Keep going. Exhale, reach. Pull with that inhale. Exhale, back down. Again, exhale to lift the arm and leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back down. Let's go again, one more each side. Other side. And back down, pushing yourself into a child's pose. Sitting into your feet, extending your arms. Well done. So we're going to come onto our bellies from here. So coming onto your belly, we're going to set ourselves up for our plank. So it's not going to be your typical plank with straight arms. It's a Pilates version of a plank. So you want to have your forearms flat against the mat and your elbows tucked underneath your shoulders. Gaze at your fingertips. Feet are hip-width apart with the tops of your feet flat on the mat. From here, we're going to be lifting one portion of our body off the mat at a time, and you have the option to stop at any point. Maybe you want to try coming into your full plank, but if it gets too much, just drop back down to the previous progression. So let's start by sucking the belly up and in to lift it off the mat. Now we're going to do the same thing with the hips. Lift. As well as lifting, you want to be tucking your pelvis towards your mat, making sure your lower back isn't arching. Now we're going to lift the thighs. Thighs come up. So this one in itself is already challenging, or you can curl your toes and come into your full plank. You will shake, that's normal. Keep breathing, you can do it. Gaze at your fingertips. Five more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring yourself down. Well done. Okay, now we're gonna go into something called the swan dive. So you're gonna stay on your bellies. I'll show you how you should be positioned on the floor. So you're gonna have your arms wide like this on the floor. So forehead down, arms wide in that U shape on the floor. Forehead's on the mat, I'm just looking up so I can speak to you guys through the mic. So you want to have the forehead down, arms nice and wide. You want to place the thumbs in line with your eyebrows. So that's where you want the hands positioned. Keep your feet together here and let the heels just drop off to the sides. You want to make sure you're keeping your core engaged. So, like I said, we love to use imagery in Pilates. I like to use the imagery of an egg under your belly that you're trying not to completely squish. So trying to squeeze the core to lift a bit of pressure off the mat. So looking down, we're gonna take a big inhale, and on the exhale, we're just gonna lift the head and chest as high as we can, keeping the gaze down. You don't wanna be looking up like that, always looking down at your mat. Hold this, lifting as high as you can, squeezing the upper back, breathing through and back down. Let's go again. Big inhale, exhale, lift. Hold it here, keep breathing. Inhale, back down. Let's go again, 3 more. Exhale, lift. Keep looking down, keep breathing. Inhale, back down. And again, exhale, lift. Squeezing that upper back. Inhale down. Let's do 1 more. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lift. Squeeze that back. Keep the gaze down. Keep that neck in alignment. You can do it. For 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Let's get into the backs of the legs now. So stacking your arms, stacking your hands to create kind of a little pillow for your head. Placing your head on those hands. Feet are gonna come hip width apart from here. We're gonna start by single leg lifts. So starting with the right leg, exhale, lift your right leg as high as you can, squeezing the glutes and lengthening the leg as you lift. Inhale down. Left side, exhale, lift. Inhale down. Keep going with this, keep alternating sides. Right side, exhale, lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Last one on each side. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Last one on this side. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Now we're just gonna be doing 1 lift with both legs at the same time and holding it at the top. So looking down, take a big inhale. Exhale, lift both legs and hold. Squeezing the glutes, lengthening the legs away from you. You can do it. Stay lifted and keep breathing. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 5 more seconds. For 3, 2, 1. You can bring it down. Well done. Okay, let's come back to all fours. Just gonna put my mic back on. Okay, back to all fours, just to do a few cat-cows. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Cat, you're pressing through the palms, rounding your upper back and looking between the thighs. Cow, you're arching your back, opening up the chest. Keep breathing and keep going with this. Let's do 1 more of each. Well done, guys. Now we're gonna come onto our right side. So you wanna be coming onto your right side on the forearm. If you have any injuries to your elbow or shoulder and it's just not comfortable for you, you do have the option to just lie on your side like this. with your head in your hand. But if you can, try to be on your forearm. For this position, you want to make sure the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder, so you're not kind of like sinking into your arm. You want to make sure you're nice and lifted, and you want to be lifted through the obliques. So once again, not sinking down. Nice and lifted through those side abs. Knees are stacked, feet are stacked. You want to have your feet kind of in line with your tailbone at the back, and your legs stacked, and your hips are nice and forward towards the ceiling. So keeping the hips nice and stable from here. We're just gonna start opening and closing that top leg. So only coming as big as you can without shifting the hips. Keep breathing. Exhale to open, inhale to close. Almost there. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And you can bring that down and maybe just hug the knees into your chest, releasing that glute, as well as letting everything go, no tension in the core or pelvic floor. Now we're gonna roll onto our backs. So coming onto our backs, we're gonna make sure our shoulders are nice and flat. Feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are away from the ears as well. You don't wanna be all tense here. Nice neutral pelvis like we did in day 1, finding that neutral. Chin is down like we're holding that ball between the chin and the chest. From here, let's lift our right leg into tabletop. Remembering tabletop, shin parallel to the ceiling and knee over hip. Imprinting our spine, super important here. Driving those ribs down towards the hips, pressing your lower back into the mat, then lifting that second leg to tabletop. This should already feel challenging for your core if you're doing it right. So make sure you're imagining those abs kind of cinching together with that core set. From here, we're gonna go into a single leg extension. On your exhale, extend your right leg, hovering it in the air, lengthening it away from you. On your inhale, bring it back to tabletop and go over to the other side. So exhale, extend and lengthen. Inhale back to center. Keep going. Make sure your ribs are staying flat. You're not arching in your back at all here. We're almost there. One more on each side. Last one. And then you can bring those knees into chest. Roll side to side. Well done. Let's bring the feet back to the mat. And let's do a couple shoulder bridges, and we're gonna just add a little bit to it to make it a little bit more challenging. So bring the feet close to you with about 2 fists between the knees and the feet. Arms by your sides to start. We're shifting our hips up towards the ceiling, peeling off the mat vertebra by a vertebra until we reach our shoulder blades. Once we're here, we're gonna do 1 tabletop lift on each side. So in your bridge, bringing your right leg to tabletop, controlling it on the way down, the left side, up into tabletop. Controlling it on the way down, making sure the hips are staying stable at the top, and then rolling yourself back down, vertebra by vertebra. So let's just do a few more of those. Peeling up to the shoulder blades. Leg into tabletop, 1 at a time. Slow and controlled is key. Working from your core. And And again. Two more. Keep breathing throughout. Keep those pelvic floor muscles lifted. Really articulate that spine when you're rolling up and down. Last one. And hug those knees into chest, releasing the lower back. Well done. Now we're gonna come over to the left side and repeat what we did on the right. So starting with those clamshells. So bringing your elbow under the shoulder. Obliques lifted through that side body. Knees are stacked, and feet are in line with the tailbone. Hips are pointing up to the ceiling. Let's go. Opening that top leg. Bringing it back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale back down. Not sinking into that arm, staying nice and lifted. Keep your core engaged. Almost there. Four more. Last two. Last one. Bring it down and hug the knees into your chest on your side. Well done, guys. Now let's roll onto our backs for a bit of stretching. Like I said, every day is gonna get a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging, which is a good thing. You don't want it to be too hard, but you don't want it to be too easy either. So as we progress, you're gonna be challenging your body more and more, which is a good thing. So let's get into a bit of stretching, starting with our right leg to the ceiling, hands behind that leg and bring it in. Getting into the hamstring, the back of the leg. For your stretching, you never wanna overstretch. So you wanna have mild tension, but it shouldn't be painful. Bring it in just a bit more. Good, okay, we're gonna cross the right foot over the left knee and then bring the left leg up towards you for a nice glute and hip stretch. Take your hands behind the left thigh and bring it in. If you suffer from sciatica, this one's really good for that. So bring it in even more, feeling a bit of a deeper stretch. Breathing into it. And let's bring it down and go to the other side. Left leg to the ceiling, hands behind leg, bring it in. Few deep breaths here. Bring it in a little more. My left hamstring is really tight, so I struggle to straighten it out. Good, let's cross the left foot over the right knee. Bring the right leg up. Hands come behind the right thigh. Bring it in even more. Breathing into it. Getting into the glute here. Well done. You can bring that down and come back up. You are finished day 2. Well done, guys, and I'll see you on day 3. See you soon.